Hey, welcome to the next episode of the Live With Us podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Martinez. Today I have special guest Jazz and Zuhayr. They're partners on the land space. If you haven't seen the other episode, go check it out. It might not release before this episode or after this episode. I don't know which way it's going to go, but definitely go check it out. They talk about a lot of different topics, and they're young investors, so I always like talking to young investors. Definitely go check it out. But we're covering a deal breakdown, which covered cool, interesting stories about business and real estate. So Zuhayr has a story today. What's your cool, interesting story, Zuhayr?
Hey, thanks for having me, Daniel. And it's good to be back on Hive Mind Podcast. It's always been a blast. The first episode was really great. We talked about a lot of motivational topics, how to sharpen your mind, and we really talked about some key principles of what should we follow in order to be successful in this land space. With a crazy story, it's been something my dad and I have been actively working on. So we have this 2.5 acre property out in 29 Palms, California.
Okay.
In layman's terms, it's like this is right next to Joshua Tree National Park. You guys might be more familiar with that.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge flat piece of desert land, right? We sold this property on a monthly term. So this person is paying us monthly, and in the land contract that my dad and I send out to all of our buyers, we have clauses that say you can't make any improvements to the property. You can't live on the property. Basically, you only make payments. And once, you've completed the payments, then you can take ownership and do what you want. So this guy, he's making payments, right? And it's only been like 6 months, right? And the terms is, this is a 4-year term that this property is on. So he's nowhere near the end of it. So we get a police report, right, in the mail. It says that, hey, you have this structure on your property and we found marijuana being grown on your property. So, right, there's like two violations here. And like me and my dad were like, oh, that's bad. And the police was like, you need to remove this structure immediately. So the police had told us that there's nobody living on the property. It seems that the person had fled. My dad and I, we have to now go check out the property, like built a structure, right? We never visited the property. This is just a piece of land, right? So we drive out. It's a 3-hour drive out to Joshua Tree from where we live in Southern California. So we get there. It's like all desert, literally nothing, right? And then we get to the property. We have to take a dirt road, right? So we're in our sedan, right? That doesn't even have off-road tires going on this dirt road very slowly. And then we finally get to the property, and there's this big wooden fence around the property. And now this is like a 2.5 acre property, right? So you can imagine that like it is like a pretty big fence around the property. So we get there and we see that there are 2 RVs, one inside, the structure, and then one outside. And then there's this like random homeless dude just like walking around in the desert too, like out there. Anyhow, we get there, right? And I have a drone that we use whenever we go out to visit land to get like nice imagery of the land. So I fly my drone over the property, and you can sort of see there's like stuff like built into it. It's like a whole little like zombie apocalypse base in there, right? You got this like RV that had like, it's like discolored with like smoke on like the roof and stuff. It's like black on the roof. Then you have like these poles that are like go from one end of the fence to the next. They look like big hanging racks. Anyhow, so it looks really sus. And then as I'm like doing this, one of the people, they come out of the RV and they come up to us and they're like, do we have a problem? Right? Because like flying a drone is pretty sus, and we're literally out in the middle of nowhere in a desert, so there's like no one around us for at least like a few miles, So then we're like, my dad's like, oh, this is my land. And I got noticed that, somebody's growing marijuana on this property and that you guys have obviously built a structure. And the people living there, they're like, oh, the structure was already here when we got here. We just paid someone the monthly payment like a few days ago to live here. And now we're like, what? Like, so the guy and we asked him what the name of the person was who they're renting from, right? And that doesn't match the name of the person who was paying us. So then this like threw in like a whole other curveball, right? So not only was there like a violation happening, now some random person is renting our land to someone else, So
It's crazy.
and it was a whole trip, like the person we were talking to, they're like, oh, I gotta go get my mom. And her mom walks out, some like very old Hispanic lady, maybe like 75 years old, right? She's like walking out and she's like, what's the problem here? And she told us the whole situation. Oh, we just cash out this guy the monthly payment just last week, like we have nowhere else to go. So my dad and I, we were like, oh, we're not here to like, take you off the property. We're here to get information to give to the police so they can figure it out. So we got our drone image, we figured out the situation, and then We contacted the police department, and now they're taking care of it. Now we just have to pay for removal of the whole structure, or we might have to keep the structure because I guess that appreciates the property. That was a trip, and that was really like an eye-opening lesson. That's yeah, if you're going out into the middle of desert, I'm telling you, like, and with hindsight, now that I know, it's like I should have came strapped, like in the middle of the desert. These people were telling them, oh, to get off our land, like something could have gone wrong easily.
Oh yeah.
So that was a very eye-opening lesson, and it's just like, and then some random person is renting our land to someone, so it's like, I didn't even know like people did that, but it's something to look out for, I guess.
You're dealing with house problems in the land space.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Not what he signed up for.
That's funny, man. I think Joshua Trees. I didn't even know what that is. Google it. You'll see it's middle of the desert. That's crazy, man. I didn't even know they had code enforcement out there. Like, who do code enforcement in the desert?
Yeah, I think it might be like easy to see a structure because if you're on like the main road and everything like flat and you see like a fence somewhere, right?
Yeah.
The decoration flags.
This show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at HiveMindCRM.io.
That's crazy. That's a crazy story. Definitely, whenever you're visiting vacant property, especially, I always take the gun.
Yeah, we let out. Sorry here, and don't go alone. Don't go alone either.
Yeah, because then you probably don't have cell service out there. Yeah, guaranteed don't have cell service.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. They could have robbed us, taken our keys. Like if they had something on them, take our car. And now we're in the middle of the desert. We have to like literally like walk to like 10 miles to the nearest like city.
Yeah, don't just stay in the desert. I'm glad everything went out all right, but it's learning lessons, and this is why we talk about crazy stories. So maybe somebody else doesn't sell their property in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, it's like real life Breaking Bad, like RV and everything.
So I was thinking Breaking Bad or Mad Max, a little bit of both.
Yeah, like the RV in the first scene. Oh my god.
That's crazy though, man. And that's such a good story for everybody here. Be careful. Your life isn't worth it. I always see a lot of like, it's heartbreaking whenever I see like investors or landlords killed over rent, and it's just stupid things, in my opinion. So for everybody out here, be safe whenever you're doing your investing, or if you're selling in the middle of the desert. Be careful out there. And there's a lot of things that are worth it when it comes down to stuff like this. So just be careful, be aware, understand what you're getting yourself into. I've had to break into houses too, so I get it. I've been there, done that. I knew it was vacant for sure. So just be careful out there, and you don't know what's gonna happen out there, and be ready for anything, because you don't know what's out there. It's a crazy world we live in, and you gotta be safe and make sure you make it home to your family.
Absolutely. And like I would say, really, if you're confronting someone, just make sure, right? We made sure to not tell them that they got to get off the property, because then they would have lost it. We were very calm about it. We're like, we're not here to do anything. We're just here to understand the situation. That's really like the position we took.
Yeah, don't escalate it. Don't escalate the situation. You're not the police.
Yeah, exactly. Perfectly said. But perfectly said.
Thanks for coming on, man. Where can people find you online? Definitely go check the other episode. Where can people find you online? And thanks for coming on, man. That's a good story.
Yeah, thanks for having us again.
Yeah. As for the online part, I'm on Twitter, so at Jazz JAZZ000, and then we have a website, estatelyllc.com. And then Zuhayr, where can they find you?
Yeah, if you need to find me, I'm most active on Instagram at PROFZUHAYR at Prof Zuhayr. You can think of it as at Professor Zuhayr.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on, man. Great episode, guys. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you guys giving us the time, and second podcast now. Okay.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it.
You guys are doing good. Appreciate you guys coming out. If you guys enjoyed the episode, go like it, share. Go find these guys on Twitter. Go find these guys on Instagram. We appreciate you guys coming on and sharing your interesting story. Go like, subscribe, and share with a friend. We'll see you in the next episode, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching this YouTube video. We hope you found value. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Watch more videos just like this one.